forward to hosting and moderating this special session today. When I read the theme of my session, looking into the future, fostering maritime curiosity in young minds, I decided to ask a few of my students, some of whom are postgraduate students, what do they think about it? A barrage of replies. Ma'am, it's very easy. Just take us on a visit to the coastal belt, a little bit of travel, a little bit of cuisine, maybe a visit to a museum, a port, or a dock. And the best was, let's go scuba diving and take a picture. Well, I thought to myself, a very narrow, very limited understanding of the maritime. And that needs to change. And most importantly, how we do it also mandates a rethink. The concept of hard and soft power has dominated the global power politics narrative. The maritime dimension of soft power is gradually getting its due with the increasing role of maritime industries and agencies in the humanitarian and disaster relief roles, and also the indispensable role that maritime industry plays in global trade and commerce. However, the wide-ranging aspects of the maritime remain elusive to the young minds. For many youngsters, Navy, Coast Guard, Merchant Navy, shipping constitutes the scope of maritime domain. But with this special session, I hope to showcase the diverse avenues within the maritime that are potent maritime soft powers of the future if they are nurtured and harnessed consciously. I would like to add that the United Nations General Assembly had declared 2021 as International Year of Creative Economy for Sustainable Development, which, if holistically examined, has a critical maritime dimension and can add value to the discourse on maritime soft power. When Admiral Hari Kumar discussed the plight of fisheries in India in his keynote address, I was reminded that the UN General Assembly has declared 2022 the International Year of Artisanal Fisheries and Aquaculture, another reminder for the indispensable role that oceans play in livelihoods and cultural exchanges. Now, this session is dedicated to young maritime enthusiasts and achievers with the aim of promoting in youth a vision of maritime India's future. And I hope with this session, we can cultivate love for the sea among the young minds. With a young and diverse panel on my side, there is a lot of energy, a lot of ideas, talent, and inspiration that is going into this session. And I'm sure that there'll be ample takeaways to share and points to reflect upon at the end. Starting with Adhvait Menon, a dashing and ambitious 15-year-old with a penchant for yachting. Adhvait is a class 10 student of Naval Children's School, Mumbai. Adhvait started sailing at the age of 9 and has received several awards at the state and national events. He has sailed Optimist, Enterprise, Laser Standard, and Laser 4.7 classes of boats. He will discuss all those later. His hobbies also include debating and essay writing, and he loves swimming. So welcome, Adhvait. I hope you're comfortable.
Yes, ma'am, I'm comfortable.
Great. Now, from school going to a postgraduate researcher, author, archaeologist, and museologist, welcome Tiya. Tiya Chatterjee likes being called a maritime enthusiast. She's passionate about underwater archaeological and maritime history studies, and she is a PADI certified diver. A goal is to aid the dissemination of knowledge about, bridge the gap between laymen and professionals. She's currently working as a research associate for the Indian Navy History Division, New Delhi. She's also a freelance writer and editor for academic and non-academic platforms. Once again, welcome, Tiya.
Hello, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Lieutenant Commander Swati, a naval officer and a doctor who, with her sheer grit and gumption, has embarked on a great adventure. I would say adventure of a lifetime. She's our golden girl of sailing on the panel. She has done her basic skydiving course, apart from training and representing the Navy in ocean sailing. Trust me, she has pushed the envelope to live her dreams and pursue her passion. We'll hear more about you. Welcome, Lieutenant Commander Swati. Our next panelist is a dynamic duo from SIMA, the Society for Indian Marine Artists. Pratekk Tandon is a passionate artist and a polymath who is also SIMA's active secretary. He has been a key asset for SIMA in promoting awareness on marine art, including seascapes among general public. He has been part of many art shows, and yes, his solo art exhibition was held at Nehru Center, Worli. Welcome, Prateek.
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon.
The other artist on the panel is Miss Deepshikha Saxena, a self-learned artist come teacher and nature lover who has played an instrumental role in encouraging young students at SIMA to take up marine arts. Welcome, Deepshikha.
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon.
Thank you. So I think I will begin with the youngest achiever on the panel, Adhvait. Adhvait, please tell us about your journey. What attracted you to the sea? What drove you to pursue such a challenging sport? Maybe one of your earliest memories of the sea, probably the role of families. Yeah, please go ahead.
My journey of yachting actually started with a hilarious incident. When I was 7 years old, my father took me on a sailing boat. It was actually a one-man boat, but as I was small, I could also fit in. I just sat and watched him sail the boat while he told me how the boat works. The funny part was that when a strong gust came, he miscalculated the rudder angle and fell in the water. Unaware of how dangerous this predicament was, I started laughing and managed to handle the boat all on my own till he could swim back. This normally is difficult for a person who had got in the sailing boat for the first time. This was where I found my love for water and encouraged me to set off on this life-changing path. I would take every opportunity to be in the water, whether to swim, kayak, or simply jump from the jetty. My father would always permit me to do all these things under his watchful eyes. He would never let me get close to the water without me having a life jacket, a precaution that is now fully imbibed in me. When I was 9, we were posted at NDA Khadakwasla, and a scintillating speech by Commander Abhilash Tommy further inspired me to learn sailing. This is where I started sailing competitively for the first time. NDA used to host enterprise class sailing championships. It is a boat handled by two sailors. In 2 years down the line, I, along with my partner, won the Under 21 Shield. Interestingly, during this time, I was only 12 years old.
So, Adhvait, did you meet Commander Tommy?
Yes, I did meet him. I even took a photo with him in which,
Okay.
yeah, and that photo, I still have it to this day. I met him later also after eventually started sailing. So he has been a role model for me,
That's
surely.
that's so nice to hear, and even a role model would now know the kind of influence that they have on young minds like you. But any word of advice that he gave you when you met him recently?
Recently, when I met him, I'd already started sailing. So what we usually had little chats about how my sailing was going, and his attitude really had a deep impact on me, and that's how I it motivated me to continue sailing, and I surely will continue even after I grow up. I'll
So yeah.
continue this sport.
So tell me, the memory of sea. Of course, we know that you have a background in the Navy, but when you go home, where would home be? Has that had any influence? Your
Uh,
native.
I used to live. My father's from Kerala, so where we live, there are a lot of backwaters. So sea has always been something close to my heart. So
That's good.
therefore, like I grew up near a backwater, and there's a beach right very close to the place where I stay in. So water has been something that has for a long time been close to my heart. So that is maybe one of the reasons why I started sailing.
That's great to hear, Advait. Amazing. Um, my next question is for you, Tiya. Are you around?
Yes, ma'am.
Tia, explain the world of maritime archaeology to our audience. I know it's a niche domain, and I'm sure there are ample opportunities for research in it. But well, we are the laymen here.
So if I have to, broadly explain what is maritime archaeology, so basically the reconstruction or the study of man's interaction with the oceans and the seas over time, how it has, how it began, how it, developed and evolved, and how it actually impacted human life, and the reconstruction is done via material culture. That can be, that will be the most easy definition of what is maritime archaeology. Now, the terminologies are very different, in different countries and different universities. For example, marine archaeology is also the most widely accepted, terminology for maritime archaeology. And then it has a lot of specifications, like you have underwater archaeology, where we are dealing only with submerged archaeological sites or artifacts. Then we have nautical archaeology, where we are studying only the shipwrecks. Then we have sites which are located, along the coast. Now, this is just the tangible part of it. You also have the intangible cultural heritage, like the culture, traditions, and all of that of these, coastal communities. So all of this actually falls under the ambit of marine archaeology. So according to me, there are so many fascinating avenues of research, and also with the background of the vast amount of heritage, maritime heritage that India has, there are immense possibilities for research in this domain. Um, Ma'am, you're muted.
Sorry, Tia, can you hear me? I have a
Yes, ma'am.
picture with me. Let me know exactly what are you doing here.
Okay. Okay. This is a archaeological field visit. This is in Rajasthan. It's close to Mount Abu. It's called Chandravati. The site belongs to the Parmar dynasty. So I actually found the like the top structure of the temple. So that is what I found, which was like buried inside. So I didn't have anything to clean it up. So I was just using my hands. So this is that picture.
So that's wonderful. I guess your research chronicles have quite a lot of
Yeah.
thrilling experiences.
Yes, a lot of them. Yeah.
Okay. Um so now my next question is to Lieutenant Commander Swati. I'm quite eager to speak with you. At the outset, congratulations. I've heard you qualified your post graduation exam, another feather in your cap. You are a Valley girl. You became a doctor. You joined the Indian Army, then moved to the Indian Navy, a doting mother to a 3 year old, and a sailing champion. There are roles galore. So take us down memory lane. Tell us about this beautiful journey from Jammu and Kashmir to Mumbai.
First of all, a very warm afternoon to all my fellow panelists and all the viewers who are watching us live on YouTube right now. Secondly, I would like to convey my gratitude and thanks to those who found me, capable of being a part of this webinar. of this webinar. I'm really, really grateful and delighted to be part of this webinar for the next 1 hour. Thirdly, the question you have asked me, ma'am. So it's not a one question actually. There are questions in the question. So I'll first start with my journey of being a doctor. So then I'll come to how I came into Indian Armed Forces and then to as a sailing medalist. So becoming a doctor, you can say, was my childhood dream or my aim. It was very clear since beginning that I wanted to be a doctor. Secondly, when I was doing my graduation and when I was in my internship, um, I got engaged to a naval officer. So that time only I had decided that once I finish my graduation, so I'll take up armed forces as my further career option, because that would be the best option for me and my family and my husband as well. Thirdly, from how I actually came to army and then to navy. So it all started with once I finished my internship. So an advertisement came in the newspaper that there are vacancies for doctors in the Indian Armed Forces. So I filled up that form. I was called for the interview. I got selected in that interview. I cleared my medicals and eventually I made it to the merit list. And that is how my journey to the armed forces began. Although I wanted to be in the navy, since my husband, was in navy, but initially I got to join. I was made to join forces. I mean army. So initially I felt like, why army? Why not navy? Because I wanted navy. But today I can say that was a blessing in disguise. That is how I could experience army also and navy also. And in army, so I was posted in Jammu, and after that I was posted in Udhampur, which is a CIA ops area. And during my tenure in JNK, so I got to know that we have an option of switching over to navy, like we doctors have that option. So I put up that case take up that case, and I put up the application, and it was accepted. And with the grace of God and with the help of my seniors and the guidance of my seniors, so I got seconded to navy within 1 year of my service. So that is how my journey from army to navy began. So in navy, so my initial posting was in Visakhapatnam. I got posted to NHS Kalyani. When I joined NHS Kalyani, so I got to know about this thing, the skydiving. So I was a kind of person who is always into adventures. I'm not a monotonous kind of person ki khali doctor, not only that. So I was like, ki, why shouldn't I grab this opportunity as something new, and my husband also wanted to do it. So I and my husband both volunteered for it. And luckily we got this opportunity. And then I went to MP, where I did this skydiving course, and I completed all my 5 jumps successfully. And that's how I got this badge. I was always crazy about putting this badge on my uniform. And I must say, I would, I can say with proud that I would be one of the, I think I'm the first lady medical officer in whole Navy who has done this skydiving.
That's great.
Then after that, I was, transferred to Naval Dockyard Visakhapatnam. And during my tenure in Visakhapatnam, I got to know about a bunch of lady officers who have gone on circumnavigation of the world. It was a group of 6 lady officers. So that is how my interest towards sailing developed. I was like, "Hey, why not I? I should also try this new sport. Like I'm done with skydiving. Why not take up sailing now?" So sailing club was nearby to my home. So on every weekends or on holidays, I used to go there and used to start practice different kinds of boats. So after some time, an advertisement came that volunteers are required for intercommand sailing championship, and I grabbed it, and I was so happy. Uh, I practiced on weekends. then a professional practice started once I volunteered for that. And I represented Eastern Naval Command in Indian Command Sailing Championship, and this is how I came into sailing.
That's a great story. I just heard Adhvait. He mentioned he was inspired by Commander Abhilash Tomi. You said you were inspired by the Navika Sagar Parikrama crew. So I'm sure Indian Navy has a very strong community. You inspire each other, and I guess there are more laurels ahead in store for all. Um, with that, I think I'm going to move to Prateek. Prateek, could you take us through your personal journey towards this creative pursuit? You're an artist. How did that start?
Sure. Welcome to everyone. Good afternoon. This is indeed an honor for SIMA and me. I would also like to congratulate Vice Admiral Hari Kumar for being elevated to the post of CNS. I have been drawing and painting since infancy. I also write poems and articles on nature and spirituality. I have been attending art classes while in school. I won some prizes in art in school and at competitions. I won a prize for design in Maharashtra's elementary art exam. Then while studying computer engineering, I would do the stage decoration for my college's cultural events. In 2009, after I had resigned from my IT job in Pune, I started learning art at an art academy at MG Road. I started enjoying it a lot. I really loved it. So then one day I decided that I will do it full time. Then I started learning from my art teacher at his house and slowly participating in group art exhibitions. My flight of fantasy painting was sold at Jahangir Art Gallery in February 2012. Then I joined SIMA. I studied fine art for a year at Bharati Vidyapeeth. Came into contact with my friend and art teacher Sachin Nimbadkar sir. I learned a lot about art from him at his studio, Art Impressions. December 2017 was a watershed moment for me. I started selling paintings and also gave a talk on my visit to the Art Institute of Chicago. I accepted Rajan sir's offer to be the secretary of SIMA. My solo art exhibition was held at Nehru Center in Mumbai in August 2018. It was well received. In April 2020, I was offered a seat to study for the regular classroom bachelor's degree at the School of the Art Institute of Chicago. Thank you.
Pretty commendable, Prateek. Prateek, I have to share the screen here. I have a few paintings of you that I would like to share with our viewers as well. And maybe you could pick one and tell us a little about it.
Sure.
Can you see the screen?
Yes, I can see the screen, but I can't see any artwork as yet.
Can you see the picture?
Yes, this is a cartoon that I had created on my own in childhood.
Is that a pirate?
Yes, that's a pirate. It was
Alright.
modeled on a pirate, and I gave it a name Bloodshed.
Okay.
So this is, my imagination, and this is a seascape painting that was a commissioned order from Kolkata.
Oh, amazing.
Thank you.
Does this have any symbolic meaning?
Yes, it has a lot of symbolism. This is the flying horse Pegasus. This is the microform breaking its shell, of limitations of narrow thinking and gaining freedom. It has a lot of spiritual meaning as well. That that this is akin to a human being being born twice. They say that people who gain enlightenment, they are born twice as they break the limitations of the world and gain freedom, they become one with God. So this is symbolic of that enlightenment as well.
Wow, that's
This was
that's.
selected for a national level exhibition in Pune.
What is it? Which mountain would this be?
Yes, this is Mount Matterhorn, the famous
Matter.
triangular
Okay.
peak of Switzerland.
Hmm.
So I had created this when I was in college, and this won an award as well. This is a pencil shading on paper.
Wonderful, wonderful. It's great to see your artworks and thank you for sharing them with us. Now I'm going to move on to Deepshikha. Uh, Deepshika,
Good
can you hear
afternoon,
me?
ma'am.
Good
Yes,
afternoon,
ma'am, I can hear
Deepshika.
you. Good
Yeah. So,
afternoon,
Deepshika,
ma'am.
take us, Raja, tell us about your foray into marine art.
Okay. Uh, Ma'am, I started marine art in the year 2013, where I was introduced to SIMA by Mr. Pratekk itself. And slowly, as a member, I started participating in various activities of SEMA, looking around so many great artists depicting marine art as a symbol to the ocean, the respect and the ocean values that I could see in SEMA were great. So I got very inclinated towards the art form and started making seascapes. So eventually, it was just not me making the seascapes. I already had classes, so I wanted my children also learn to that art form. So I started teaching marine art specifically to the kids, and eventually got permission from Rajanveer sir to exhibit the same in the venues. And fortunate enough, it was appreciated a lot. My kids, they went abroad to various parts of the country, and they have sold their paintings, and
That's
they are
commendable.
appreciated by so many people, and I'm really glad to see that kind of achievement.
I think that
So
must feel so rewarding.
yeah, sure, ma'am.
Sure. So,
uh, i
Deepshika, yeah, sorry, please continue.
I myself, as a nature person, I love doing nature more. So that is an inclination also towards the marine art.
Amazing.
Ma'am, you can
That's
continue.
Yeah. So I have a few pictures with me. I think I want to share them with our viewers, and
Sure,
do help us go through them so that
surely, ma'am. My
and you
pleasure.
could reflect on them. Yeah. So this here would be.
Ma'am, I can't see the pictures.
Are they visible now? It will just
No.
be a slight lag, but
Yeah. Uh, yes, ma'am, I can see the pictures. Okay. Ma'am, this is a pencil sketch done by me. Since I love the corals and fishes a lot, I am madly in love with fishes. So I just picked up this beta fish. This is a beta fish, and I drew it on a grayscale paper. So that's it, and it is totally color pencil on paper. This
oh,
one is this fish is clownfish, as you know,
yes,
and very joyful fish. I really love the colors in them, and reef is one most powerful thing in the marine life. It gives so much nutrition to these fishes and hideouts too. So, depicting some kind of hideout to the clownfish. This is oil on canvas painting. Uh,
that's amazing. That's amazing.
Thank you. Uh, this is from, as you can see, uh, if you can relate, this is a Kerala backwater. Few years back, I had been to Kerala, and I was mesmerized by the scenic views in Kerala, and the whole impact was different. So I had just made a sketch, a similar sketch to this painting, and one of my known persons, she saw this and she said, "I want a painting in this." So this is a self-created Kerala view painting
That's
where
amazing.
a houseboat is sailing. Well, this is one of my unique artworks. This is a mixed media.
Hmm.
The background is done in pencils, pastels, and poster colors, whereas the tortoise is purely done in pencils and
So that's a
charcoal.
sketch. That's a sketch.
Yeah, it is a sketch, but when you do a sketch with some paints, you call it mixed media.
Mixed media. All right.
Yes,
That's news
yes,
for us. Great.
yes. So that is all these paintings. They show the love for sea and the groundwater, the animals and the all the animals prevailing in the sea.
I can feel the warmth, the way you're saying it, Deepshika, and I'm sure you're very passionate about what you do. And
Surely, surely, ma'am.
we'll hear more from you. Uh,
Thank you.
Advait, coming back to you, uh, I would really like to know about your training sessions, and I'm sure that that is something that everybody wants to know: how grilling, how easy, how difficult, and so how does a typical day in the life of a yachting champ look like?
Enterprise class is more of a boat for seniors, and I wanted a
Right.
boat for my age. So I did some research on the internet and got to know that there's a boat called the Optimus class, which is ideal for under 16. There was one Optimus boat in NDA that became my Maruti. I would take the boat myself, rig up, sail, and on return wash it and park it back. From there, I participated in the National Optimus Class Sailing Championship in 2016. Although I finished last, I neither felt ashamed nor regretted. My father saw the certificate where it was written that I finished 53 out of 53 participants. He jokingly said, "Congratulations, Advait, you've got full marks." But frankly, I enjoyed every moment I was in water. I knew that this was my calling, and the only way from here is up. My father's transfer to Mumbai in 2017 was a blessing. That was when I really started to step up my game. I got a coach and started doing practice seriously. A typical day of my life is morning fitness, including endurance and strength. I would reach school at 2 I would reach from school at 2:15 p.m. and was at the sailing club by 2:45 p.m. My mother would accompany me and remain at the club till I returned back to shore. My practice would be till 5:30 p.m. I would leave the club after washing and keeping my boat spick and span. I would sail with my coach, Mr. Xerxes Bamboat, on Saturday and Sunday. He would brief me on my shortfalls that I had to correct by next week. This routine has continued, although now I've added a few more stretching sessions before my class start. Uh, these days, due to my 10th standard preparation, I am not able to visit the sailing club daily. But when I am close to a championship, the intensity in training increases. Running, stretching, core exercises, hiking on a bench is done for longer duration. For the recently concluded nationals, my coach, Lieutenant Madhu, used to push me to undertake physical training for almost 10 hours daily.
10 hours, do you say?
Yes.
And I from where does that endurance come? How do you?
Basically, during the time before my championship, basically 2 weeks in advance, he started really pushing me to my limits. So he started with lesser, and every day it kept increasing. But every time I came back from sailing, I was immediately in bed. I was that tired. I used to just sleep most of the time in my free time. Whenever I wasn't doing anything, I used to sleep. It was that tiring at times. but that actually helped me a lot because during the championship I didn't feel any physical strain on my body. I was able to compete at my best. So it is good to have a coach who can push you to your limits.
That's something very kind to say, despite despite whatever you've been through. There's we have a comment saying full marks, Advait. So there you go. I think I'm going to go with Tiya now. Tiya, you have two masters and an extensive research experience. How easy, how difficult you find maritime research?
Um, so like we spoke about how niche the domain is. So my first master's is in archaeology and the second is in museology. So while pursuing archaeology, I realized that I'm doing something unconventional because it would take extra effort to make people understand that okay, archaeology is also something that normal people do. I mean, it is not as niche as marine archaeology, but it is also not something mainstream as being a doctor or an engineer. So at least I was mentally prepared, that way. Maritime research, I think it has always fascinated me. It continues to do so. But I think the biggest challenges for me, which of course do remain and will remain further also, is the paucity of domain experts in our country, because we really have a handful of them, and also research material in terms of books, papers, because when we compare with the west, right from the inception of marine archaeological studies across the globe, the gap is, it's really a lot. It's not that India has not done like good work. It really started with a lot of enthusiasm in India, but I don't know, somehow it just did not continue. And I think apart from all of this, definitely encouragement and finding like-minded people who want to do something similar in the domain and who are willing to guide you, because I think like Advait said, to have a coach who really pushes you. So I think similarly, to have the right guidance to push you to steer your research in the right direction is also extremely important. So I think, yeah, all of these constraints were definitely there, but somehow I made it till the finish line. So yeah, I'm
Uh,
happy about that.
we are also very happy hearing about that. But
Yeah.
tell me, Tia, I'm sure there are, we have viewers who could be aspiring marine, maritime archaeologists. They would want to do something similar. Any particular book that you would like to recommend? Something that, you yourself gleaned data from?
Mhm.
Maybe some papers, something that you could suggest?
I think when we are talking about studies which have happened in India, I think Dr. Alok Tripathi is a pioneer and he's done a lot of research. So if someone just Googles, Dr. Alok Tripathi, they're going to find a lot of material about, the different studies that, he's undertaken. And also one of the best repositories is to just go to NIO Goa, National Institute of Oceanography. Just go to their website and you can just click on the repository and you will find all the papers regarding whatever research that they have done throughout the years. And NIO has been an organization which is there which was there like right since the inception. So I think yeah, visiting their website is also great for gathering some data.
That's great. I'm sure that'll be helpful. Thank you, Tia. Moving on to Lieutenant Commander Swati. Uh,
See,
Swati,
I
I
could
would have imagined um, a girl from the Himalayas would probably opt for mountaineering. I know I'm sounding prejudiced, but I would definitely want to know why sailing. Probably because of some inputs from friends or mentors. But or was it just the thrill of it? I want to do something new.
Well, mountaineering is one such sport which is in my bucket list since quite a long time. In fact, I got an opportunity also to do it in 2017, towards the end of 2017. But by that time, I was already on my family way, so I couldn't do it. But I'm sure I'll be fulfilling this dream of mine also pretty soon. Uh, I'm really looking forward for that. Regarding my my interest towards sailing, it was definitely thrill of doing something new, because as I earlier told, I'm a kind of person who always love exploring new things, be it at home, be it outside. So as I told in my earlier session that I got to know about circumnavigation, so that is how it inclined me towards sailing. So I thought that I was like, yeah, I'm done with one thing, now I'll focus on sailing. Why not try different kind of boats and venture into sea? So that is how I actually made to sailing. And I have actually sailed on three four types of boats, uh, like enterprise class, like laser radial, laser bahia. And then initially I sailed on J24 class of boat, in which I got gold medal as well.
Great. That's so inspiring to hear. And
Man, you're muted.
yeah, am I
Uh,
audible?
yes, that's
Yes.
right.
So I'm going to share a few pictures of Lieutenant Commander Swati um, at her sailing best, and she could throw some light on those pictures.
Yes, yes. This is J24.
Would you repeat that, Swati?
Yes, yes. This is J24 class of boat, which I really which I recently did it in Mumbai, in the month of September.
All I can see are ropes. And where would this be, Swati?
Yes, yes. This is the enterprise class of boat. This also I did in INWTC Mumbai recently. In this also I won a gold medal.
This is probably at the beginning of the race.
Yes, yes, yes.
So
And I would like to share an experience with you. When I started practicing in 2017, so that time I was practicing on a laser radial. That's a small boat, and only one sailor is there on that. I mean, one person sails that boat. So I was not well versed with it. So sometimes what used to happen, I have taken the boat into the sea, and I am into the sea, and boat is on me. So that was, but still, I was not scared at all, because I knew I am with my life jacket, as Master Adhvait told that life jacket is your savior. You should not venture into the sea without putting your life jacket. So that was a different kind of experience, I must say that.
that's heartening to hear, because you're talking about a very challenging sport here. You're getting injured, and still you admire it. We want to hear more. What has the sport taught you? But we'll come to that later. Let's talk about Flight of Fantasy. Prateek, your award-winning art that was exhibited at Jahangir Art Gallery, and yes, I'm sure sold to the rightful owner. What is it about? And just share, how did that all transpire?
Yes. So, can we display the painting, please? Can we
Yes,
display the
sure, sure.
photograph? Yes. So this is an acrylic on canvas landscape painting of Switzerland. I use the photograph as a reference. I have not personally been to Switzerland. So this painting has a size as a height of 18 inches and a width of 24 inches. This has a very interesting and a unique story behind this. So I had submitted this photograph to Bombay Art Society for the annual art exhibition in February 2012, and I had totally forgotten about it. Then one day I get a call from my art teacher who informed me that it has been selected. So he was over the moon, and so was I. Then I traveled to Mumbai with a friend and submitted this painting. Now, on the last day of this exhibition, it was still unsold. So I had made preparations to transport it back to Pune. However, the office manager of Bombay Art Society asked me to wait for some time. I was hanging around out there. Then later on, I see a gentleman staring at it. So I go up to him, I describe it, and finally he bought it at a little higher price than the minimum that I had quoted.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
So it seems that an artist has to be a patient, has to show perseverance, and needs to be a good negotiator too.
Yes.
That's great.
Yeah.
Advait, you've participated in championships. Now, the takeaways from each event, okay, your championships, or even what you learn from your training sessions. So many things to learn. Any particular event that you remember would be your most memorable, or it could be most challenging?
To be frank, I carry fond memories of every regatta that I have sailed. They have really made me learn more and more about sailing. I have also made new friends. There are a few moments of lasting memory that I would still like to share. My performance as a 12-year-old rookie at the Nationals in 2018, competing at the top with the best of the sailors, almost 3 years elder, was memorable. This was the first time I made an impact among the sailors of my group. This performance also helped me in securing my place in the national squad, which was a matter of great satisfaction. At an international invitational regatta in Spain, I was the only participant from India. Still, the organizing authority hoisted the India's national flag, and that was a moment of pride. I represented India at the World Optimist Class Sailing Championship 2021 at Riva del Garda, Italy, in July this year. It was a singular honor bestowed upon me that I can never forget. As you know, now I have shifted to a larger boat. Last month, I was practicing for the Nationals at Marway. The location has strong tides. While entering the channel, the wind suddenly dropped and my boat drifted and got entangled with the underwater ropes of a mooring buoy. My boat capsized and my sail got damaged. I did not have a sail for the competition. While I had nowhere to go, one of my partners at practice, who was not competing, got to know and he offered me his sail. What I want to say here is that the sailing community has a great camaraderie and friendship that lasts lifelong.
Those are some really worthwhile takeaways, and I have to say you're a 15-year-old, and you are giving us some pearls of wisdom there, and we'll probably hear a little more about your mantra later in the session. Tiya, I'm quite excited to know about your book, Underwater Archaeology in India, The Lost Enigma. It was released on 2nd October 2020, so heartiest congratulations for that. Tell us about this journey from research to producing a book. What went into the making of it, and anything special that you would like to share about it?
It's actually been a very interesting journey because I was actually working as a documentation assistant on a digitization project in Deccan College, Pune. When I had this chance encounter with Dr. Arnab Das, the director of Maritime Research Center, Pune, and he proposed this idea of research in underwater archaeology. And I was actually skeptical because I thought, oh my god, I'll have to learn swimming. I don't know how to swim, and I did not even know I knew no one who had done something like that. But then it was definitely something very interesting and new. So I thought, okay, why not? So the initial, arrangement, the initial contract was only, between me and MRC was only for 6 months, where I was supposed to, figure out potential areas of research in the domain, and come up with some good interesting papers. But as we got more into the research, Dr. Das and I, we thought that, oh my god, this has so much of potential, it is so interesting, and right now, not much is being done about it. So how do we take it ahead? And right then, IMF Pune was very kind, to award me with a fellowship of a year to expand my research and write, the book, because they also sort of agreed with me that, this knowledge needs to go out in the public domain in the form of a book, so that more people are aware, more people know about it, and more students can also possibly, take help from it and also get inspired to, research in the domain. So yeah, there's definitely, like I said, because of the paucity of material and relevant domain experts, it was pretty challenging. But I think, we all have our highs and lows, but it's been a great learning experience. It has been so enriching. I've met so many people. Now I have great contacts, and a lot of people motivated me. So I think, yeah, like there's no turning back. It's definitely happened for the good.
What's with the lost enigma? Probably.
Uh, yeah, so Lost Enigma. So this is my view. So I don't want anyone else to get offended by it. So, like I said, in India, when Dr. S.R. Rao, the father of marine archaeology in India, I mean, it all began with a lot of enthusiasm, but somehow it died. And we also need to understand that there are actually a lot of constraints involved in researching, primarily when we're talking about underwater archaeology or nautical archaeology. There are a lot of resources, diving equipment, and so it's not something easy to do. But because of whatever reason, somehow, we are kind of in a stagnant state. uh, but we have a lot of potential, as I mentioned, and also we have this vast amount of maritime heritage. So in my eyes, I thought it is something which is lost, but it's definitely enigmatic as well. So that was my, sort of way to, kind of put it across my thoughts. So
Yeah,
that's
you're
it.
actually. I can't help think of this animated movie called The Lost Atlantis, and maybe we'll
Yeah.
see something, more entertaining coming from you. But we'll talk about that. But Tia, tell me something. Any experience from your archaeology research, some trip underwater or beyond, that was particularly memorable? I have some pictures with me, but of course, you could share them, share your experiences. I'm going to share these pictures.
Okay. I think, yeah, there are like some things which are really etched into my, in my brain because of my field trips in archaeology and also diving. I think some of the most important things that I've learned is to conquer your fear. When you're on your field visits, I mean, I used to be creeped out by insects, but insects, snakes, scorpions, yeah, you name it, you have all of these on terrestrial archaeological sites. And I would like to share this interesting experience. So in my first excavation, I was there, and it was my birthday. I was in Bhuj, on a late Harappan site, and I was just sitting on that, the bed, and I was just, my feet were dangling, and I was, and we didn't have connections, no electricity. So somehow I, was saving up the battery to talk to my family and relatives because it was my birthday. And I was just happily talking and telling them, and I just saw like two, three scorpions just pass, like, just crawl very close to my feet. And I thought, it made me actually appreciate nature more, and also get over that fear that, if we don't get in their way, they're not going to harm us. So so much of that learning came by these visits. And also when diving, when I was underwater, and I just looked around, and there was just water everywhere and marine life, and it just made me feel like really, tiny, in this vast, nature force. But it also made me feel that, that small existence can be made significant if you really can carve out a niche for yourself. If you're passionate about something, if you have that drive, you can do something and make that thing matter, your existence matter. So I think these are some of the things that have passed on because of my experiences in archaeology and diving.
That was pretty deep, and I know from where that comes. Your research aptitude, of course, years of experience in research, working with so many organizations, and your passion to do or to make a difference, to the maritime domain. Great, Tiya. We'll hear more from you. Coming to you, Lieutenant Commander Swati. Pandemic was particularly taxing for the doctors across the world. The medical fraternity within the Indian Navy were no exception. And to say the least, they have braved the belly of the beast where quiet was not always peace, right? And yet you somehow managed to fulfill your duties and pursue your passion and emerging triumphant, no less. So please tell us how you navigated through these different roles. You trained, you practiced, and participated and won the events. So take us through this transition from one role to the other.
So before answering this question, I'll go little retrospective. So from Vizag to Mumbai, I moved in 2018. That time I just delivered a baby girl, and I was on my maternity leave. So I had to come back to my form because I had to come back to my shape. So after around 2 to 3 months, I started doing gymming and started the diet process and the gym and all. So I was back to shape one in another 7 to 8 months. And 2018 and 2019, I couldn't do much because of my baby, because I had to fulfill my that motherhood duty as well. And in the beginning of 2020, this COVID thing happened. So I would say all the adventure activities were actually put on hold by the Navy. And these adventure activities actually started happening in 2021 only after this second wave subsided. And in the last 1 year, I was actually preparing for my post graduation entrance exam also. I was totally dedicated towards that thing also. And then during my COVID time, I was not getting that much time because I was made to go to Dhanvantri Hospital also, which was a kind of joint venture by central government and the defense forces. So I had gone to Ahmedabad. I was posted there in the ICU for 1 month. So I finished off that duty, and then focused on my studies as well as whatever time I could get after my office, after my hectic work, because I used to do 24 hours duty on every alternate day. So once my exam got over, so I thought now I should give time break to myself and start what I love the most. Then suddenly one day I got to know that the sailing championship is coming again. So I volunteered for it, and again I participated in this sailing championship which held in the month of September in Mumbai. And luckily I got 3 medals in that. So I'm really looking forward for such more adventures in the coming future as well. And one thing I would like to say to younger generation is, Navy is an ocean of opportunity. The only thing is that you should be really really passionate to do something new, to try something new, and to grab these opportunities. And I can vouch for that. No other organization will give you such opportunities which you can do.
Very well said, Swati. And I know that you've been able to navigate these different roles uh, because of cooperation from your peers, your subordinates, your seniors. So I know what you mean when you say that Navy is it provides you with opportunities. Uh,
One thing I would like to say, that one person who kept me motivated through all this time was my husband. He has got a big role in that. So he's not a typical stereotype husband. He's the one who's like my friend, and who always pushes me to do something new. So even if he couldn't do these things, he pushed me that no, you should take up these events.
And let me remind the viewers, her husband is also a naval officer. Right. So now coming to Advait. Advait, you've been sailing for a few years now. Has sailing affected your personality, your attitude? You must be getting something from your friends, your relatives, parents of your friends. Tell us about that.
Sailing
What?
isn't just a sport which helps in keeping you fit physically, but it also makes you stronger mentally. Physical strength has its limits, but it is your mental strength that can help you break those limits. Mental strength is something people usually forget. Like I told you before, sailing is a sport that requires you to multitask. You need to be aware of the natural forces around you. Make your own boat move fast. You are thinking and doing many things together, sometimes repeatedly. The 12 races over a period of 3 to 4 days means that every sailor has ups and downs over the period. Hence, one develops the confidence to bounce back. Another interesting aspect of sailing is that it is a self disciplining sport. That means that if you make a mistake, say your boat touches a mark, you have to do your penalty on your own. No referee will remind you. After the race for the day, in case you feel that a fellow participant has not been self disciplined, you have the right to protest. A jury hears your case. Sometimes you also hear false allegations or perceived charges. The hearing is like a small courtroom. These peculiarities in the sport of sailing has really helped me in the development of my personality. Multitasking is one, self-discipline being the next, and also the confidence in putting up your side of the story irrespective of the person's stature. A regatta is not over till the last race is over. So it is in your life. If you fail once, you can still bounce back. And last but not least, a sportsman does not fast, nor does he feast. One should not be depressed too much, neither should celebrate too much. I have lost more races than I have won. So with it comes the humility. Sailing shouldn't be seen as a sport that takes up time and distracts you from studying, but it should be seen as a sport that empowers your ability to adapt and develop.
Uh, am I audible?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes.
Advait, after listening to you, I can only say there's always light if we are only brave enough to see it, if only we are brave enough to be it. You
Yes, ma'am.
are truly a prodigy. You are an inspiration, and we are so proud of you.
Thank you, ma'am.
What you said, it's not just about the race, so many other elements go into it. So keep it up. Uh, Pratik, share details about your association with Society of Indian Marine Artists. And I would want to ask you, since you're the secretary there, do you see a growing maritime consciousness among students, general public, through art, or you think more could be done?
Well, the sea has its dazzling and brilliant coral reefs, multicolored and beautiful fishes, sun-drenched and sandy shores, deep blue sea, and boats and ships. Is it not beautiful? Then how can a landscape artist not fall in love with the sea? This was the reason why I take to painting seascapes, and I'll tell you my history, my association with SIMA. Around 8 to 9 years ago, I joined SIMA as I wished to be part of a landscape art group. The category of seascapes is a part of landscapes. Well, there I met my mentor and well-wisher Rajandeep sir. I started participating in the events and art exhibitions. Later on, sir invited me to be on the management committee. SEMA invited me to give a talk on my visit to the Art Institute of Chicago in December 2017. My presentation was highly appreciated. Rajan sir offered me the post of the secretary, which I accepted. So I have been the secretary since February 2018. I have conducted many events and annual art exhibitions. In response to the second part of your question, I would like to say yes. Through maritime organizations, media, and fine art, there is a growing maritime consciousness. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Pratekk. Deepshikha, since we're talking
Yes.
about art here,
Yeah.
you know, I have a 5-year-old son and he loves the beach. He was recently stung by a jellyfish, and after an antihistamine dose, just a few hours later, he demanded to be taken back to the beach. He wanted to
Hmm.
play with the waves, with the rocks, the shells, explore. So
Hmm.
I know that's the power of sea on a child, right?
Yes. Yes.
However, how do
Hmm.
you encourage marine art among children? Because I know there are challenges.
Surely, ma'am. Every art has challenges, same as marine art has. Now, the biggest challenge is to inculcate that culture between the kids who have not visited a beach or a shore. And uh, saying that, I have a few students who have not visited. So now they've, as Tia ma'am is a scuba diver, she knows what a coral looks like. But if I have to explain the same to a kid, it would be just by pictures or by the help of some animations. So, what challenge we face is we have to make them, not only make them understand what is the value of sea, oceans, and rivers in our country and abroad, as well as the effect. These days, we have so many pollutants prevailing. So, to make them realize that it has to be conserved also, it is a water source to us. I make them understand the value of water there. And then, we, with the help of few pictures and guidance of other artists, we make them talk to each other. And then we can come to a picture. We select a picture basically, it's either a real life picture or an inspirational picture. Definitely, some kind of modification is done to those pictures because kids, they cannot inherit the same kind of values which a picture has. So some kind of modifications are done, then the color scheme is decided, and many things are involved in it, and it definitely takes months together to get one picture together. So when it is like a group of children, 10, 15 children together, and each making one different uh, seascape or depicting sea life, so it becomes a lot of challenge to me that they should present the essence of the sea and the what animals and the prevailing life in the sea. As you
Okay.
said, your son is like, he saw starfish and got excited. So my kids also do that. They this who have made once or twice one picture, they definitely they go beyond that, and sometimes I get so many expressions from them that, ma'am, if we can include this or that, or some kind of extra elements they give me, and we include all those and make a picture.
Deepshika, I would love that my son can enroll in your class, and now I can only.
Surely.
I hope the management at Society for Indian Marine Artists is listening to this. We can have something up in Mumbai.
Surely.
Uh,
And
so
Yes, we can
ma'am,
do
one
something
thing,
combined.
yeah,
okay, that's
one
great. That's great. That's great.
one thing
So
I would like to add
yes,
here.
yes, sure.
Uh, since in SIMA we have a junior section also, so we encourage kids to become members and participate in various activities uh, throughout the year. Me being the head of it, I take special precautions that children literally learn how to conserve water energy in our country.
Wow,
We'll be
that's
talking about it more later.
that's great. That's great. So you mean to say that, of course, you are also promoting awareness on
Yes.
eco-friendly measures, right?
Yes. Yes.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. But Tia, coming back to you, suddenly I recalled that when I read about you, and this is very fascinating and motivating. You were suffering from thalassophobia.
Yeah.
That's fear of oceans. And now
Yes.
you're an advanced level professional association of diving instructors, PADI certified diver. Am I correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So
Yes.
this is phenomenal. You please share this spectacular transition, with our viewers, because I'm sure they have similar apprehensions or some other apprehensions in pursuing maritime related careers.
Yeah. Um, Actually, good question, and I get asked about it a lot. So, firstly, I think I also read a comment. So, there's a little bit of clarification. So, many people say that it's not necessary for you to be a scuba diver to be able to do marine archaeology. Partly that's correct. If your research area is about a site which is land based, or it is about intangible cultural heritage. But apart from that, I think if your research area is underwater archaeology, nautical archaeology, then it is like 100% must for you to be a scuba diver. Plus, it's such a fun thing to do, so like why not? My book is based on secondary and tertiary sources. So at that time, I did not know how to dive. I only learned swimming while I was writing my book. And when I was in the last stages of writing my book or finishing my book, I actually had that realization that, oh my god, I'm so interested in underwater archaeology, and I don't want this thing to just get over with by finishing the book, and I want to do it, pursue it further. But for that, I'll have to get over my fear, and I'll have to learn diving. And Once the book released last year in October, I spoke to my parents about it. And so yeah, like I'll also use this platform to thank three people who are actually they're like solely responsible for this. My parents. So I was having this conversation, and my parents said that okay, if you want to do it, like why not? You've always done unconventional things. You've always been someone out of the box, so just go for it. And my dear friend, retired Colonel Anand Swarup, he is a diver, and he told me that just go for it. And I think it was just 3 days, without thinking much. This discussion took place in October, and in November I was in Goa. I was doing my training. I got stung. I also got stung by a jellyfish. Like the first day, 5 minutes I was in the water, I got stung so bad. It was really painful, but I did not give up. I thought that no, I have to do it, and I was instantly in love after my first session. I thought that this is addictive. I cannot stop this. And at the end of my training, when I had that license, diving license in my hand, and I actually realized, apart from the motivation that I got from my parents and also my friend, I think there were so many people who told me, oh my god, you're afraid of the oceans and the seas, you're not a great swimmer, how are you going to do diving? But then I converted all of that into positive affirmations. And once I finished it, I thought that okay, if I can do it, anyone can do it. And I think I would like to give this message to everyone that if you really want to do something, any adventure sport, be it maritime studies or scuba diving or sailing, just go for it. I mean, of course, you will have inhibitions, and people try to inform. I don't think they try to pull you down, but it's that half knowledge, because especially for someone like me, I like Advait, he had this association of the seas and the backwaters. People like me who are like born in the mainland and they're always in the plain areas, they have no connection to the sea. Even the family side, like no one will ever encourage you to take up swimming for a sport. They'll say go learn dancing, swimming. So I think, if you have any such passion and if it gives you that adrenaline rush, just go for it. I mean, that's what I did, and I'm so happy that I actually did it. It's a great experience.
Thank you, Tia. I think you sort of summed it up. And, I can't help think of Plato. I have political science background. And Plato said, the sea cures all ailments of man. I heard all of you all have had your challenges, but it seems the sea has cured you
Yeah.
of all these ailments, all the impediments and challenges that you faced. So looks like we have certainly run out of time. And looking at the comments, those are very encouraging for all of us. And I can, there are comments for Pratekk about when is the next SIMA exhibition in Pune. Swati, everybody expects you to do a solo circumnavigation. So Advait, you should, I guess you do you have a Twitter account? Not yet.
Not yet, not yet.
Not
I don't
yet.
know.
Thank God. But yeah. I guess we did very well, and thank you very much. Uh, we've covered up many questions. You shared your stories and experiences, and with that, we come to the end of this special session with you, young achievers. We had an eclectic mix of panelists for this session. Uh, Recognizing their dedication, ambition, and contribution to maritime. This session is an acknowledgement of their achievements and, most importantly, to foster maritime curiosity in young minds. One can join the Navy, merchant Navy, shipping industry. One can take it up as a hobby, diving, sailing. One can nurture the love of seas through art, literature, research. At the beginning of the session, Commodore Kesnur had discussed the story behind the choice of maritime soft power as the key theme for this year's webinar. Um, because of my political science background, I can't help but revisit the contested concept of power in international relations before presenting my closing remarks here. Now, today we are discussing maritime soft power. We must remember that the concept of power has been a contested one across disciplines. Its slightly oxymoronic resonance in the traditional discourse of my field might make people think again about their assumptions when they speak of power. And when we think of the concept of power in the 21st century, we need to get away from the idea that power is always a zero sum. My gain is your loss and vice versa. Power can be a positive sum too, where you gain, your gain can be my gain. And that's the impassioned plea that Joseph Nye made in his books. And that is precisely what we should aim to comprehend when we talk of maritime soft power. The most important and critical narrative of power is that of transforming societies for better. Hence, maritime soft power is about tackling issues social, cultural, economic, environmental. And this session has made it abundantly clear about the vibrant facets of maritime through sport, hobby, research, and art. And clearly, they are all making a difference to the lives of people, inspiring young minds, disseminating maritime knowledge through research, exploring the unexplored maritime, and promoting awareness. There are many bright kids and youngsters curious about different aspects of the maritime domain, from pursuing a maritime hobby to understanding the wealth and depth of maritime realm, or even aiming to join a maritime profession. Young minds need to be an integral part of the maritime narrative. Even if we help a handful of these bright kids foster maritime curiosity and discover maritime consciousness, we would have given back something very significant to maritime India. Advait showed us how, at a tender age, he developed the love for seas and sailing. Uh, it is said that in youth we learn, in age we understand, but he's proved it wrong. His thoughts are articulate, he's mature, he seems to be learning and understanding very well the joys and challenges of his passion. Um, and of course, walking the tightrope, studying for his 10th boards. Uh, Tiya's research chronicles were thrilling, to say the least. What surprised me is her lone ranger attitude, academic proficiency, rigor of research, and most importantly, personal fears were all overcome by this archaeologist come historian, come diver. Um, uh, I think the extant research and scholarship on Indian maritime soft power is indeed scanty. Blue economy, marine ecosystem, underwater domain awareness that she brought out, maritime history. So Tiya did talk about her challenges while exploring and researching for her book. Lieutenant Commander Swati was another surprise. So many roles, rolled into one, and she's doing justice to them all. And I think it was humbling to see, Swati navigate each role with a sense of duty and determination. And I want the viewers to know that the Indian Armed Forces, she's from the Indian Navy, they do that to you. So your journey from the mountains to the seas will inspire the young minds to not be limited by environment, upbringing, or even gender. Uh, Pratekk and Deepshikha, you brought a kind of calmness and restraint into our otherwise very high on adrenaline session. And I guess, I imagine art does that to you. It's a common denominator which enables artists from different spheres of life to come together, display their creative work. And a sense of tranquility and composure prevailed when you spoke. And that's how I guess one feels when one is at sea. It lets you retrospect, introspect, contemplate. And marine art is a splendid way to reflect on one's maritime linkages. Deepshikha, Pratekk, you have simplified abstract art for us, and it's creditable. You have a challenging job at hand teaching art, especially to young students. The session has also raised some very pertinent questions about modalities and efficacy of dissemination of maritime research, brought out by Tiya. Possibility of building a market for marine art to ensure that marine art flourishes and prospers in India, brought out very well by Pratekk and Deepshikha from SIMA. About sailing and yachting, how to make popular these sports in schools, and even if I could say that tap into the rural schools, project and promote these local talents, whom I'm sure would do great. So Adhvait, Lieutenant Commander Swati, Tiya, Pratekk, and Deepshikha, you've taught us that oaks grow strong in contrary winds, and diamonds are made under pressure, and certainly not overnight. A warm thanks to all of you, your maritime achievers in diverse ways. And in a way, it suggests the nature and scope of maritime, from hobby to passion, from passion to glory, and from glory to reflection and research. These achievers braved and endured many challenges, yet today have contributed in their own different ways to maritime consciousness. Maritime India needs young visionary enthusiasts, a community that would create, nurture, and develop unexplored opportunities in maritime domain to take the country ahead. Thank you so much, all of you. I hope the audience is ready for some more